Well, in Florida, lawmakers passed a sweeping immigration bill aimed at penalizing undocumented immigrants. Earlier drafts had raised red flags with pastors over religious liberty concerns. Heather Sells has more on what the bill means for those who minister to newcomers in the Sunshine State.
Immigrants from around the world are flooding into Florida. It's why many churches have stepped up their ministries to serve newcomers. Pastor Dale Schaefer oversees the Florida district of the Church of the Nazarene.
Many of our churches have transportation ministries, right? They take people to doctor's appointments, they help them to get to school. Many of our churches provide transportation to and from worship.
That's one reason the immigration bill announced by Governor Ron DeSantis caught Schaefer and other pastors off guard. It would have made knowingly transporting someone with no legal status a third-degree felony.
If you hold people accountable, they're not going to want to do this.
The governor has argued the bill would help to reduce illegal migration, but pastors worried it would impinge on their ministry and threaten their religious freedom. The final bill partially addresses that concern by limiting the felony charge to those who transport an undocumented migrant into the state. The broad sweeping measure cracks down on illegal immigration on multiple fronts. It mandates tough restrictions on ID cards and driver's licenses for those who can't prove citizenship. And it requires hospitals that accept Medicaid to ask patients about their legal status. The bill's sponsor hopes the legislation will become a model for the country.
It should be the blueprint for the other 50 states.
In recent weeks, some pastors had spoken out alongside the evangelical immigration table, flagging what they feared could become an obstacle to living out their faith and showing compassion.
Jesus never asked anyone what their status was, right? The parable of the Good Samaritan is an incredible example, right? This man, the Samaritan, stops to help this man, asks him no question, says, "Put the cost on me."
A spokesman for World Relief said he's concerned that the bill initially disregarded religious liberty. "I'm troubled that it took the outspoken advocacy of Christian pastors to flag that churches should be able to minister freely to all," he said, without being at risk of imprisonment for performing basic ministry functions like driving someone to church. Reporting in Orlando, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Complex issues with no easy solutions. Thanks, Heather. Gordon, back to you.
Well, when you come down to the state passing a law that violates what God has told us to do, let's go back to the book of Acts and what the apostles responded. We have to obey God. God has charged us to take care of the stranger in our midst. God has charged us to care for the widow and the orphan. God has charged us with this. This is the role of the church in society. We are supposed to be light. We are supposed to be salt. And any rule that is passed under our Bill of Rights, the free exercise of religion, is on its face unconstitutional. It would not ever apply because we have the freedom to practice our religion, and we need to stand up for that. I'm grateful that the law was changed, but I share in the same concerns. Why would there ever be that kind of sweeping legislation that would sweep up church activity, humanitarian activity, to help people in very obvious need?